So we have Professor Jeff Mitchell from. That's gonna get like I'm just gonna leave it in because that's all people are gonna watch over and over again. They don't care what advice you have to share.
Probably not.
They're like just gonna watch him get slapped over and over and over again. All right, so this is Jeff Mitchell from Newark, Delaware. Elite Jiu Jitsu came to Frequency Martial Arts for the 7th time. What do you like about Bloomington so much that you keep coming back for 7 years?
The cornfields are amazing. They have windmills. Windmills are amazing here. That's all I got.
Okay. Well,
corn and windmills.
So you travel all over. You go to Tampa for camps. You've been to Canada for camps, Ireland for camps. What do you like about traveling and sharing jiu-jitsu?
It's just fun to be able to teach people. My passion is teaching, not competing. It's teaching, and I want to just share what I know. And the team, we hang out with the team, get to know everybody, and just a lot of fun.
When COVID hit in 2020, how did that impact your school, your teammates, and your coaching staff?
We had really very few people that didn't want to train during COVID. We actually picked up so many students because I guess it was, the government telling us we can't do something and it's supposed to be a free country, so they're going to do it. And, I know a lot of schools got in trouble for it, but we were lucky. We would have the police ride by, wave to us as we were training. We have some students, that didn't want to risk it, which I understand.
Sure.
We've had students get it. I had a student pass away from it. I had another student's father passed away. So we know it was real, but we didn't want to be told that we couldn't do what we love, and that's how I make a living too. I couldn't afford to shut it down.
And how has membership been since the pandemic hit?
It's been amazing. I mean, we have maybe 3/4 of your mat size, and we're getting up to 50-some students a night in one class. So it's been really good, really good.
What advice would you give to somebody who's thinking about trying jiu-jitsu out for the first time and they're trying to come over that intimidation factor or the thought that they have where it's just like what they see in the UFC, sweating on each other, punching, kicking, going home bloody and achy?
Well, that's about what it is, isn't it? No,
I don't know how you teach at your school, but we're not sending people home all bloody.
If they walk through the door, they've done the hardest part that they can do. They came in the door. We've had students that told me they parked in a parking lot, waited, and left because the intimidation of it. But once they come in and they get to know everybody and they get to learn the movements, they love it. They just have to walk through the front door.
Okay. And you're here for a workshop. What advice do you give to somebody who they've been training jiu-jitsu, they've been going to class on a consistent basis, but now you have this workshop at your school and now you've got that intimidation factor because there's a guest instructor coming in?
I mean, they just have to do it. They have to realize jiu-jitsu is just about having fun. There should be no pressure. If you're feeling pressure on you, maybe you have to go to another school or, there shouldn't be any pressure. You come in, you have fun, you learn. And, like when I teach, if I do one move in the beginning and the next 5 moves after that is not their move and they like the first one, they can train that first one the whole entire time. If everything I'm doing isn't what they want, then they can ask and we can make adjustments, because everybody's just here to learn. So even if I veer off to another thing, most people wouldn't even mind.
Okay. When you travel and you do the Q&A sessions at the end, that too can also be an intimidation factor because you have people who are like, oh man, I'm a purple belt. I think everyone knows I should know how to do this, but I'm really stuck. What advice do you give someone like that?
Well, usually I give them the advice after they don't ask the question. When I ask and we bow out, they come running over to me and say, oh yeah, I got no. That guy back there did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But no, usually I tell people the dumbest question you think you have is the most important, because there's probably 8 other or 10 other guys on the mat that have the same question but don't want to ask it.
Right.
There's really no dumb questions in jiu-jitsu. You know, if you don't know it, you don't know it. And most of the time, other people don't know, especially like if you're a purple belt and you have that question, that means your teammates probably don't have the answer for it, because you know you ask them, you ask your instructor. So ask anything. You know, if it's funny, I'm going to make fun of you, but we're going to fix it, you know, just to have fun. Like Doug Kimball, if he asks a question, he's like the only person I ever known to ask really dumb questions in jiu-jitsu. It's just like, why does he ask questions? Just put your hand down. But, you know, we'll fix them. We'll fix them.
Right. What advice do you give to somebody who is coming in, they feel like they're at a plateau and they have the mentality of, I'm always training at 100%, always looking for the first submission that comes my way, and they're not really advancing their game?
Well, the one thing you said that's wrong is you said training at 100%. That's fighting. That's not training. If you're at 100%, you're grappling to win every time, and grappling to win is going to make you lose. You have to be put in bad positions. You have to fight out of bad positions. You have to be in the uncomfortable positions. And if you're hitting plateaus, that's because you're doing the same thing over and over again to win. You're probably just getting on top of the person, trying to submit them. Your teammates are learning this. They know what you're going to do. So now you feel like you've hit a plateau because nothing's working. That's because you're so repetitive, and your teammates can stop it now. So as soon as you feel like everything's not working, then you switch your game. You say, okay, well, I like to get on top, pass the guard, submit the person. Well, now go on the bottom. You know, switch your game all the way up, and then, you know, you can start moving from the bottom, maybe get back to the top and add your regular game in. But you always have to try different things. You can't try the same thing over and over again, because eventually it's not going to work anymore.
Okay. And you've seen jiu-jitsu come a long way since when you first started, where they had VHS tapes.
Watch yourself.
I'm the same way.
Okay.
I remember having to go through Black Belt magazine, scrape up the money, and then just run bootleg
But
copies.
do you know what black VHS tapes we had? There was only one.
Did you have the top load?
Well, I'm not talking about the player. I'm talking about the instruction.
Which instructions?
Henzo Gracie and Greg Kukok. They were the only ones out at the time. So yeah, we didn't have YouTube. We didn't have that. It was just all trial and error.
So how has your training or your students' training changed now that they have pretty much everything at their fingertips on their phone?
Yeah, it's actually really hard to keep up with everything that's going on. Like before my classes, a lot of times I'm sitting at home and I'm on YouTube trying to figure out how to defend certain things that are happening now, because, you know, we're not being taught it. I don't have an instructor, so I actually learn a lot from the students, because you know yourself, the young purple belts, they're watching everything. They're trying all these upside down tricks. So I got to help them with that. So, you know, we train with it. You know, some of my black belts, you know, that one, he's old over there, so he's in the same position we are. But, you know, even the purple belts are the ones that really teach you a lot, because they're the ones on YouTube, or, you know, some of the blue belts. But there's so much stuff out there now. It's changed so much.
When it comes to training, what do you think maybe like the top 3 biggest mistakes people make when it comes to their training that hinders their progression?
Training 100%, like you said.
Okay.
A lot of people, they just want to win. That's the main thing. Their ego and winning. If they get put in a bad position, they freak out. When I was a brown belt and I took over the school from Hobson, I said, well, how am I going to get better? He said, you need to let all your lower belts put you in bad positions and fight out of them. You know you can submit them, so you're not getting any better by submitting them. But if you get caught in a triangle or an arm bar or a guillotine, can you get out of it? Because if at that time I was just going in with the blue belts and white belts and just submitting them, I didn't get better. So what happens like a few months down the road when another brown or black belt comes in and they put me in a position, I'm not going to be able to get out of it. So they got to accept bad positions and work their way out of it. You know me, I've been here so many times that I tell you, the whole on your knees, slap, bump, and grapple, that's like dumb. You know, how many tournaments you've been to where they fight from their knees?
None.
You're not learning anything. So the best thing to do is be greedy with your training and say, man, I've been getting choked out from the back so many times. Slap, bump, can you start on my back? You know, that's how you're going to get better. You're not going to get better by avoiding getting your back taken. You're going to get better by being able to escape and recognize what's coming at you.
Okay. And then one last thing, what would you say to somebody who's trained and they've taken a long absence from the mats?
Get back to the mats. Just take it slow. Especially, you know, if you're like our age, I tell my guy, you know, the guys like Zach, one of my black belts, he hurt his neck real bad, trying to keep up with these young 20-year-olds. And I said, look, up here we're still young, but our body's not. Pick your roles. If you know Jimmy over there is just going to go balls to the wall and try to submit you every time, stay away from him. You know, you got to protect yourself. We're getting older, and a lot of guys will look at us like, oh, you're higher level, but it doesn't matter. My body's not. My body's old. So pick your roles. Be careful with your roles, and you got to let the person know, look, man, I'm here to work myself back in. I'm not here to fight. So let's just roll around and just be safe and, again, pick your roles.
All right. So thank you for checking out the video. And again, thank you so much for coming and sharing your knowledge with the team.
Thank you.